The Qatar Grand Prix may have been a thrilling race on the surface, but behind the scenes it was a masterclass in chaos orchestrated by the FIA, with their race director Rui Marques taking centre stage. His decisions, or lack thereof, not only reshaped the narrative of the Constructors Championship battle, but also handed a significant, albeit controversial, advantage to Ferrari. In a championship where every point matters, the actions of race control have left McLaren reeling and Ferrari celebrating, all while sparking questions about the integrity and fairness of the sport's governing body. Are we about to witness a situation with Rui Marques similar to Michael Masi's departure from the FIA? The drama kicked off when Alexander Albon's wing mirror went rogue on lap 29, tumbling onto the track at the finish line straight. At this point, McLaren looked poised to consolidate their constructors' lead. Lando Norris was comfortably running in P2, trailing Max Verstappen by a manageable 1.7 seconds. Oscar Piastri held P3 with a healthy 2.3 second cushion over Charles Leclerc in P4, while Carlos Sainz was running in P5. With George Russell already out of contention due to a disastrous 7-second pit stop that left him stranded in traffic, the race seemed set for McLaren to rake in 33 points compared to Ferrari's 22, a gap that would bring McLaren tantalisingly close to their first constructors' title since 1998. But then the FIA stepped in, or rather, they didn't. Double yellow flags were waved for Albon's lost wing mirror, yet no safety car was deployed. Norris, caught in the frenzy, failed to slow down sufficiently, earning himself a severe penalty. The decision not to immediately neutralise the race with a safety car proved disastrous. Valtteri Bottas, adhering to the blue flags, inadvertently struck the debris, scattering shards of carbon fibre and glass across the track. This lapse endangered every driver on the circuit, but none more so than Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, who soon fell victim to punctures caused by the debris. Instead of prioritising safety, race control seemed content to watch the chaos unfold. McLaren, believing the safety car was imminent, called in Piastri for an opportunistic pit stop, aiming to gain a strategic edge. Yet inexplicably, the safety car didn't emerge until lap 35, well after Sainz and Hamilton had limped back to the pits, effectively torpedoing their races. This delay allowed Verstappen, Norris and Leclerc to pit under neutralised conditions, reaping the benefits while Piastri and others bore the brunt of the FIA's indecision. For Leclerc, this was a gift. The Ferrari driver leapfrogged Piastri into P3 and later climbed to P2 following Norris's penalty. Meanwhile, Sainz and Hamilton were left to nurse their damaged prospects, with Sainz finishing a lacklustre P6, unable to overcome the straight-line speed of Pierre Gasly's Alpine. Hamilton fared no better, his race effectively ruined by the puncture and subsequent loss of time. Norris, though visibly furious, managed to salvage a point with a determined drive to P10, even snatching the fastest lap in the process. Piastri, despite a valiant effort, couldn't retake P2 from Leclerc and had to settle for P3. McLaren, who had been eyeing a commanding constructors' lead, instead saw Ferrari claw back 9 points. Thanks to their dominant 1-2 finish in the sprint, McLaren's weekend damage was limited to a net loss of 3 points, but the implications for the championship battle were massive. Team boss Andrea Stella didn't hold back in his post-race comments, both praising the team's performance and criticising the FIA's handling of the race. The positives from today's race are that we had a very strong car and we were in contention for the victory. Oscar drove a solid race but was unlucky with the timing of the safety car, which dropped him behind Leclerc, but that's the way it goes sometimes in racing. Lando was very fast and the way he clawed his way back into the points after the penalty was impressive. It isn't the result we wanted overall, but it is what we have. Stella highlighted how McLaren's pace was more than sufficient want to contend for victory, only for their efforts to be undermined by the FIA's decisions. He also pointed to the need for proportionality in penalties, referencing Norris's harsh stop-and-go punishment for the yellow flag incident. While acknowledging that rules are rules, Stella urged the FIA to consider a more nuanced approach in the future, ensuring penalties align with the severity of the infractions. This is what he said. However, for the future, we would recommend that the FIA considers that proportionality and specificity should be guaranteed in any penalties that are applied. Moving on from that, we now go to Abu Dhabi. We remain focused and determined to finish the job as a team. This sentiment underscores a larger issue in Formula One. While the FIA remains steadfast in enforcing certain rules, their inconsistent application and failure to act decisively in critical moments raises questions about their priorities. How is it that the governing body can deploy penalties so swiftly for infractions like Norris, but drag their feet when safety is at stake? The decision not to deploy the safety car earlier not only jeopardized driver safety, but also fundamentally altered the race's outcome. Ferrari, now very much alive in the constructors' battle, heads to Abu Dhabi with a glimmer of hope, trailing McLaren by 21 points. The Woking outfit remains in the driver's seat to secure the title, but the Qatar debacle serves as a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in Formula One. With just one race remaining, every decision, every lap and every point will carry monumental weight. Meanwhile, Norris and Piastri head into the finale determined to put the chaos of Qatar behind them. For Norris, his penalty was a bitter pill to swallow, especially given the timing of the yellow flags. His fight back to P10 was a testament to his grit and the pace of the MCL 38, but it wasn't the result McLaren needed to seal the championship. Piastri, on the other hand, delivered a solid performance, but was ultimately hamstrung by strategic misfortune. Both drivers know that in Abu Dhabi, mistakes must be minimised and opportunities maximised. The FIA's role in this unfolding drama can't be ignored. Rui Marques and his team have faced a storm of criticism for their handling of the Qatar Grand Prix, with fans, drivers and teams alike questioning their competence. The controversy surrounding the safety car's late deployment and Norris penalty highlights a worrying trend of inconsistency and indecision from the sport's governing body. If Formula One is to maintain its integrity and fairness, the FIA must address these issues head on. The recent upheaval within the FIA has Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff likening the situation to the drama of a reality TV series. Over the past weeks, a string of significant personnel changes has raised eyebrows across the Formula One community. Among the most notable was the sudden departure of F1 race director Niels Wittich just before the much anticipated Las Vegas Grand Prix. This came hot on the heels of other exits, including senior F1 steward Tim Mayer and deputy Formula 2 race director Jeanette Tan, who both stepped down prior to the Qatar Grand Prix. The chaos didn't end there. The Qatar event itself sparked heated discussions, with a particularly glaring issue being the delayed deployment of the safety car to clear debris on the track. This, combined with the broader leadership turbulence, has painted a picture of an FIA struggling to maintain its grip on the sport. Wolff addressed the situation with a mix of humour and concern, quipping, "If you look at it in a positive way, it could have its own reality show with what's happening at the moment." However, his remarks also carried a serious undertone, emphasising the need for accountability and transparency within the organisation. The drama escalated further when F1 drivers penned a public letter demanding greater transparency from the FIA. FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem's blunt response, dismissing their concerns by stating his governance style was none of their business, only added fuel to the fire. Amid the turmoil, Wolff applauded the drivers for their unity, framing it as a vital step in protecting the integrity of the sport. He stressed the collective responsibility of all stakeholders, saying, "We need to protect this holy grail of a sport." and do it with responsibility, accountability and transparency, and it doesn't come across like that. He also urged introspection among the sports leaders, suggesting that everyone involved should ask themselves whether they are truly contributing to the betterment of Formula One. Teams very much have an understanding of what we believe is right or wrong, he noted, highlighting the shared sense of purpose that unites them. With tensions running high and no clear resolution in sight, the FIA's leadership faces mounting pressure to restore trust and stability. Whether this chapter ends in reform or further discord remains to be seen. But for now, Wolff's reality TV analogy feels strikingly apt. As the season finale looms, one question hangs over the paddock. Will the FIA's decisions play a decisive role in the championship once again? For McLaren, Ferrari and the fans, the hope is that Abu Dhabi delivers a fair and thrilling conclusion to what has been an electrifying season. What do you think about the FIA's performance this season, and do you believe that they need to rethink their approach? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.